Hello, friends. It's Monday. It is Monday. Look, I mean, this is what we got going on. And now I'm stuck. I got on video. I was like, oh, that's terrible. That is terrible. I got to put a hat on. We were in the wind all day. Well, not all day, but okay. So now I just made it worse. Okay, we're done. We're done. Welcome. If you don't know me, I'm Amanda. And I see some new faces that I don't know yet. So welcome. Glad you're here.
Amanda, brand new senior goal.
Yeah. Yay. Hey, and I got my call today. Grace called me and I was like, Grace from Plexus? I don't know Grace from Plexus. And she's like, I just wanted to call and congratulate you. I was like, oh, well, thank you. I was so excited. She's like, just let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. Okay. It was really nice. I loved it. So something to look forward in the future also. All right. So even as leaders, it's nice to be acknowledged and celebrated on all the things. So I was very grateful and thankful that they do that. I love it. All right. Well, if it's okay with you guys, I'm gonna start us off with a little prayer and then we'll get digging in. Jesus, thank you so much for this day and for who you are. We love you and we are so grateful that you care about the big and the little things in our lives, even just little celebrations like that. You know us intricately, every little detail, things that we have no idea. And we ask tonight that you would be with us and help us as we dig deep into what kind of leader we are, what kind of leader we want to be, and how we can lead best our teams and those who follow us. We love you. Thanks for loving us. Amen. Okay. And I've got a frog in my throat. It's all the pollen going around. I don't really have many allergies anymore, but it's still like I kept sneezing, like my body was like, no, go away. It's like, okay. So pardon me as I drink through this. So I love John Maxwell and I have done the leadership training a couple times. And so it's always good to do it again because you're always at a different point in your life and leadership and things that go on. And, at this point I was like, oh, that really spoke to me this time. So I had law 9 and 10. We'll start with 9, magnetism. And hopefully y'all were able to listen to the training that I posted. I also went back through and listened to these from John himself, just so that I could be refreshed and all the things about what he says on these. And it really struck me, and we're going to do a little activity to start off on law 9. Now, I know that we do this anyway. A lot of our teams, a lot of the leaders on our teams have us do these things and don't just say, hey, this was from John Maxwell, but I'm sure there are many people who have said these things, but so we're going to do a little activity and you can write these down if you want to, if you already know them, whatever, but I do want you to pop at least one in the chat here. And I want to know 3 to 5 top qualities that you look for that you want to attract as far as a leader in your business. Top 3 to 5 for you. And it will be different for different people because we're all different. So tell me what 3 to 5 qualities that you want in a leader on your team. Or if you just want to unmute and talk, you can do that too. Jesus, loving, caring people, hardworking, self-motivated. Yes. Self-motivated. Yes. Committed, makes others feel seen and loved. I love that. Self-motivated, good. Committed, goal setter, good. Thanks, Shara. Yeah, self-motivated for sure. Yeah. And I'm reading these out loud because so it'll come through on the recording because we don't get the chats on the recording. So anyone else? Anyone want to talk? Okay, thick skin. Yeah. Presents themselves well, strong character, self-motivated, connects well with others. I see a pattern with our self-motivated. Yeah, absolutely. Which can kind of go with driven and those kind of things as well. Self-motivated, that kind of just starts it all, I think. Good. All right. Like I said, I think we have a theme here, and with the video recording, she says that that is one of the top things that we need to look for in individuals. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Carissa. So with that being said, let's see what else I've got here. With us knowing the things that we are looking for, we also need to attract. We will only attract what we put out there. Does that make sense? So you will only attract those if you possess them yourself. So like begets like. If you wouldn't, so here's a question for you. If you wouldn't follow yourself, why would anyone else? Ooh, that one really got me. It's like, because John had talked about this guy. He's like, so asking him, what should I look for in a leader? He's like, well, would you follow yourself? He kind of looked at him like, I don't know. I don't know. So I found that pretty interesting. So the different keys to attraction for our magnetism, our yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but so the key areas of attraction are our mission, which you could probably put that as your why as well. Kind of tie your why in there, but actually our company has a pretty great mission, but we could have our own mission as well, which kind of, I do think that kind of ties into our why we're doing what we're doing, our priorities, our age, even though we don't necessarily want to, like, I know I would like to find Gen Z. I would like to find somebody that's really, a Lauren, or, some of the others her age. And I've tried, but I don't know, maybe I'm too much of a mom figure in that sense. But I know like Lauren is on a team where her leader is older, more like a mother figure too. So, but they tend to go group with age, and then your values, which are huge. I sometimes will get, and please pipe in if you guys want to talk about anything. I will sometimes get really excited when I have someone, well, all the time, when people are like, oh, tell me about what you do, or even when they sign up, you're always thinking, okay, could this be my next business builder, my next runner, my next whatever? And then you see a little something on the Facebook and you're like, hold up. Maybe I don't want this person to, because they don't share the same values that you do. And not that they couldn't be, I mean, it just depends on the situation. And personally, I just pray over those things because God knows. So yeah. And Cassie said everyone's core values are different too. So that's something that we need to determine ourselves and what we want in our teams. So
that's true, because it's like, I was gonna say everybody does have different core values. So I guess what you'd really be looking for is you don't want to align yourself and be working with somebody whose values are in opposition to yours, or yeah, like conflict with yours. But you do tend to attract people with your same core values, or with some of, maybe they mirror one of your core values, and that's what like drew them to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely don't want to be like mirror images of one another. You need to have some differences, but as far as like the core, I think that's pretty important. Have like a good working relationship with your people. And background is one of those. Like we're could be like someone who I'm trying to remember what he said about this one specifically, but it could be someone that you grew up with, or I think that's what he was alluding to on that one. Or come from the same town, or even like the same, I guess, family type. I don't know. And then attitude, that's a big one. There are plenty of times that I have just wanted to rant and rave on on Facebook about this or that, but people don't want to hear that, and that's not what I want to portray either, because that's not really me anyway. So no one wants to join someone who's a negative Nelly or a Debbie Downer or a joy sucker. They just don't. And if they do, they're not going to last long. That's all I can say about that. It just does not. It doesn't stick. Thoughts on those?
I think it's so true when they talked about that, because when you have a Debbie Downer, nobody wants to be in relationship or conversation with them, especially if that's all that they rely on, is that victim mentality or that woe is me. And it can take everybody down. I mean, think of it in a crowd. If you're in a crowd of people, you know exactly who that person is if that's every time you're in that crowd and that's what they bring up. And so I thought that was so true, that we all tend to gravitate to somebody a little bit more positive, encouraging and loving and caring, and somebody that we want to, she had triggered it to where, like, what do we seek or what do we want more of? And that's who we're going to be around more. So.
Yeah, because I mean, we're all different on this team, but we all have very similar core values. So that's what has really kept me going, honestly. If I were following someone who was toxic or negative all the time, I just, no thanks, personally. Okay, so here is a little discussion question. Feel free to say out loud or put in the chat. What one thing could you improve about yourself? Because again, if you think the people you attract could be better, then it's time for us to improve ourselves. So what one thing could you improve about yourself to attract better leaders? What do you think? Cassie, I was thinking the exact same thing. Be more organized. I'm working on that too, because I work 3 part-time jobs. So currently I'm hoping that I can get rid of one of them at some point, but God has me there for a reason. So I'm not, upset about that, but now I'm just trying to figure out where to fit everything in. So yeah, organization is good. Consistency. Okay, good. I know this one was kind of thought-provoking. Might take a minute. Which I'm sure I could improve on other things too, but be okay with failure. Yeah, that one's hard. That one is hard. I think some of that, Shara, does come with Age. I know I don't look it, but I'm older. So I'll be 45 this summer, girls. 45. It's so old. Not really. If you'd have told my younger self, I was like, 30 is so old. But some of that, like I think back at how I would react to things in my past, even in my 30s and now in my 40s, I was like, so the failure part is I just have to remind myself sometimes that that's me learning. At least I did something to cause that failure or whatever. At least I did something. I acted. Whereas before I probably looked at it like, nah, that's not going to work out. I just know it's not going to work out. So I'm just not going to do it. So that's good. That's good. Oh, thanks, Cass. Working on being equally kind to myself in the good moments and when making mistakes. Yeah, that one's hard too. I know. Because you're just like, why did I do that? Really? I just want to skip to the good part. Yeah. But we have to have that growth in there, unfortunately. Thank you, God, for designing us that way. Okay. Any other thoughts on magnetism? I think sometimes we get like this thought just popped in my head. I don't want people to think that they have to be like me. Because I can be pretty sometimes. I need some people who are not so. So I think that's where the core values come in. Like, yeah, I agree with you. I believe the same as you. We're totally different. I don't know, just something there. Chris has said recruiting and developing up and coming business builders. I want to do more of that so I can attract more of that. Yes. Very good. All right. Oh, I forgot to turn the baby monitor off. Hopefully you can't hear Liam yelling. Anyone? You didn't hear him? Okay, good. I'm in my bedroom because this is the only quiet place. All right, Law 10, connection. I think a lot of us, we know this already, don't we? We know this. That's part of social selling anyway. True story. I used to be a shy person. Most people who know me today are like, really? I don't believe that. Growing up, I was timid, I guess you could say, until I got to know you, and then here I was. So in high school, I decided to join drama, and I got the lead in the school musical, and my dad and mom were in the audience, and my dad looked over at my mom and he's like, is that our daughter? Who is that even? So where was I going with that? Connection. I had that story for a reason.
Well, you were saying that you used to be shy and that in this business we have to.
Yes. Thank you. So I ended up with a job, long story short, through the years, I ended up with a recruiting job for our local hospital. And I had to teach myself how to engage with others. People like to talk about themselves. So that part's easy, but okay, I knew that part, but what do we talk about? I'm not talking about the weather. That's what old people do. No, I do end up talking about the weather, but so coming up with certain questions, and I know that she talked about that in the video you can have, and it doesn't have to be her 5 questions or whatever it is. You can come up with your own. Maybe you want to learn something different about someone other than what they do for a job, or that kind of thing. What are your hobbies? Those kind of things. Just something that you would actually want to know about people. So I think it's very good to think of those questions ahead of time, kind of memorize them, and just have them in your little pocket to pull out when you meet people. I had some notes. Do you guys have any specific questions that you like to ask people that you do on the regular when you meet new people? Anything good?
Mine usually are homeschoolers for the most time. And so it's usually school related, like, oh, how long have you done that? Or, oh, what curriculum do you use? Or, hey, or it's camping or something like, hey, where's a great place to camp? Where have you been? Because if we're camping somewhere, I might ask where another spot is that they enjoy, or hiking, is there another spot that maybe might not have thought about, or really any of that. And I think sometimes because we're all so different, it's harder for people that have a hard time connecting to come up with those kind of questions. And for me, sometimes it's a little bit easier because, like you said, when I was young, my dad was military, so we had to move all the time. I was having to be that person to make new friends. And so I really think it forced me to start asking questions to kids, because it was like, I'm the new kid and I don't want to be bullied and whatnot every time I go to a new school. So I had to learn to ask questions. And I think that that's why for me, and I know I have to realize it's not easy for somebody else, I've grown up that way. And so those things are something to remember, that we can pass those down, because like, again, hiking or, hey, wherever you're at, I think validate that situation and whatever room you're in, and contact or connect in that scenario.
Good. Other thoughts? John says under connection, leaders touch a heart before they touch a hand. So we have to remember that, and that's why stories are so good, that people really can relate to stories, because, it gets to their heart. Yeah. I wrote down a couple things he said. People won't go along with you if they don't get along with you. So, yeah. Become likable. I think we're all pretty likable here. Yeah. And that connecting with others is the leader's responsibility. It's not just, thinking about any type of position, any job, anywhere as a leader. It's not about just doing the day-to-day things that need to be done to take care of business, but actually connecting with your people. One of the things I do to connect with others online, and this kind of started a little bit before the quarantine and everything, but I really got serious with it when everyone was stuck at home and depressed and all the things. And I would just go and check in with people and ask them how I could pray for them, but and most people would respond with, I'm good. No, I want to know how you really are. And I would say it like, I'm glad to hear that. Something like, I know there's so many people that are anxious and not knowing what's going on and blah, blah, blah. And then I asked him another question, and a lot of people would respond, with more detail after that point. So it takes us really digging deep and asking those questions of people, and not just letting them tell us, oh, I'm good, I'm fine. No, how are you really? Oh, I saw the other day you posted about your daughter. How is she feeling? Or, whatever the situation is. And sometimes when I go to message someone, I'll go back to their page and look through, the last few posts or whatever, however long, so that I can say, hey, I noticed that such and such and such. How is that going? Or, those kind of things, just to connect with people. And it's not just with my team members or my people, anyone on Facebook that I find. Thoughts on that, on how you connection. Yeah, Cassie, same. I'm kind of she says, and as crazy as it is, I think I've become more of an extrovert and extroverted introvert. I need a day or two after conventions or whatever with the high to cool down. Yeah. And I will get that way too. I will engage with people and converse, and then I have to take a little bit of a break because it does take out of my, I'm the same way, extroverted, introvert. So, so yeah, have to refill, and then I can do it again. Yeah. Jerry says, taking it that extra step shows you actually care and aren't just asking a surface level question. Yeah. I had the icky situation happen where I friended someone on Facebook that I thought I knew, honestly, thought I knew from college. And, that was over 20 years ago. So I don't remember everyone, even though I went to a smaller college. She was a friend of someone that I remember, and we've been talking back and forth. So I sent her a friend request and sent her a message, asked how I could pray for her or whatever. And she's like, I see you sell Plexus. That was her response. I see you sell Plexus. Is that why you friended me, so that you could sell me something? And I just wanted to throw up, because yes, actually, that is always in the back of my mind because I know how amazing it is and I know how it can transform lives. So yeah, that's always in the back of my mind. Always. Just like Jesus, sharing Jesus with people. It's always there. And if that's my ulterior motive, so be it. But she and I had a conversation, and she had been hurt by someone else in a different company. She had been befriended by her, and when she couldn't do something or help her with her business, she dropped her as a friend. So she had been, truly hurt. So it really bugged me, but we never did see eye to eye on that. She never did want to, and of course that bugged me. But we will run into those things sometimes as we are talking with others. But I still think it's very important. Even Cassie's had some success just, when Facebook puts on there people you might know, and she just friends them. She just friends them all. And I'm in the back of my mind thinking of that lady, like, what if I get another person thinking that I'm just friending them because I want to sell them something? So I just need to get rid of that. And because people are in need, they are in need for what we have. And sometimes just to have a friend. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think the biggest thing though that I found through this is that if they accept my friendship, they already should see all over my wall what I do and what I love. And so I found if they have, I sometimes don't even message them. I let them follow, let them breathe my content, my information, things like that. I mean, I literally signed up somebody the other day, and I think I told most of y'all this exact same scenario. She saw my stuff. I have no idea. It probably was suggested friend. And she signed up. We had an hour phone call, and she just lost her husband. It was amazing. And she's like, I feel like God brought me to you for a reason. I have no idea why. And so I try to, and I think the thing is, we're triggered by the negative thoughts versus the positive ones. And what about that with her? If I would have allowed, like Nancy, Karen, whoever you want to say her name was for you, Amanda, if we would have allowed that to consume us, then we might not have that one person that really needed us to be there for them. And so I always just say, you're always going to have those people. I've had them this past 6 years. And I'm like, yeah, I actually do. I hope you're doing, you know what I mean? Just have good conversation. If it doesn't go, you don't want them on your team anyway. So just do God work and keep doing it.
That's right. That's right.
I can say something about that too, because I'm the same way. Cassie, can y'all hear me? My headphones are on the fritz. I'm the same way. Like, I'll friend people. It's not always through the suggested friends, but like if somebody I highly admire is in a lot of pictures with somebody else, for instance, I'll like friend that person. So I do that all the time, and I don't always message right away. And sometimes randomly people will message me and be like, how do I know you? And, you instantly are like, are they saying that like in a negative way? And we really kind of do have to just get out of that assumption, that place of assumption, but I always just say, I try to keep my eye out for amazing, like-minded people. And you looked like an amazing, like-minded person. So I thought you might want to be friends. Like, that's all I say. And usually people are honored by that. And if they're not, like you said, if they're just like, if they have, such high skepticism that they're like, negative, then I let it roll right off my back, but that's usually what I say.
I just wanted to fix it. I wanted her to see that not everyone is like that, but it was okay. It wasn't for me to do. All right. So as far as, let's see, I had some questions. My phone went off. Okay. So tell me, this is in what ways do you take the initiative to build relationships with others? Anyone? Anyone? So what if it's someone that you don't share any like interests or commonalities with? How do you talk to them? What do you do? Do you try to find something? Do you just go for it? Which I liked like what you said, Carissa, when you just like, I think we're like-minded. I think, So be sincere. Those meaningful questions that go deeper than surface level. Yeah. Yeah.
And by be sincere, I guess I mean I have to be willing to present myself at a deeper level. I have to go first. So I kind of have to live my life in a way that like I'm being real, I'm being sincere, I'm being vulnerable. And then if they kind of meet me there, then I'm able to ask a question that's deeper than surface level. But I kind of have to be the one to like offer that first, I feel like.
Do you have any certain questions that you ask them? Say it's a new friend.
Oh, well, above, like I was saying, that's kind of been tough for me, and I've had to grow that skill because I do feel like it takes a lot out of me to get into those conversations. So I've had to learn how to like, I've just had to grow that skill. So I was actually really paying attention to what everyone else was saying as far as like, I would say Chris is amazing at it, just kind of like genuinely being interested and showing interest and asking great questions. So I don't know. I have a couple people in my life who I feel like are really good at it at that intro level. And I need to like ask them, hey, what are some of your go-tos? I feel like for me, it's more a matter of like offering them an authentic window into me, and then with what they give me back, I'm getting better at curiosity, but I am having to like learn it. I don't have any go-tos.
So how do we show up authentically? Ooh, Cassie, did you grab any of his questions on how to ask questions with unlike-minded people?
Oh, on the sermon. And mainly it wasn't really questions per se. It was just forcing ourselves to be around sometimes unlike-minded people, because those are the ones that need Jesus the most. Those are the ones that need God the most, and really pouring into them. Because yeah, we can be in a sea full of God-loving people, but that's also not our mission here. And so it was more of truly like following those God nudges. If you're like, oh my gosh, I need to tell that person that her hair looks good, even though you can tell she's super negative or tell something's wrong. Maybe it's just getting out of your comfort zone and saying, you know what, I really like your hat. It's super floral, and floral's my favorite. And I don't know why, but I needed to let you know that, or whatever. And I think that that's truly where it's at, is, forcing ourselves out of our comfort zones, because mean, Stacy, she's not on here, but she did a great one about her daughter, like jumped out of an airplane today. And I'm like, nope, not happening. But it's out of uncomfortability. Like, it's just not something that I would do, but I'm super proud of her for doing that because she got out of her comfort zone and did something that most of us would be like, heck to the no. And I don't know. I think just keep forcing ourselves because we always are going to get better no matter how many times we do it, as long as we keep doing those things. So.
Yeah, it's definitely going to stretch us for sure. And mine was kind of, I wanted the job as a recruiter, but it definitely forced me to learn those skills. And I need to kind of refresh those skills a little bit. And I used to have, of course, at that time, I was recruiting for jobs. So that was our commonality, to actually find a commonality with someone that I'm not even sure if we have anything in common, what questions do you ask there? And then you can start with those simple ones like, I, especially with women will say, do you work outside the home? Because there's a lot of homemakers and that's work. Staying home with your kids is work. So I try to, word things a little bit differently that way. But even some men, I have a friend who's a stay-at-home dad. His wife's a doctor. And so I just love it. But just asking certain questions. I have learned though, it's kind of tricky sometimes if you ask them if they have kids. So I'm avoiding that question because I have some friends at church and I don't know their story. But they just kind of brushed off the question, just like, no. And so, cause we don't know, that one's scary. So maybe, unless you see that they have children with them.
Well, and again, if you're new to an area too, it could be like, well, we've moved a lot. So it's like, hey, what do you like to do in this area that you would suggest? Or what's your favorite? I like food. So what's your favorite restaurant? Yeah. Maybe isn't a food chain, but is a hole in the wall or something that you would recommend. Things like that. Mm-hmm. I think that most people don't utilize versus the weather. So
since we have so much connection online, not as much in person, I would say, right? Probably the majority of our business is online. I kind of shared how I connect. How do you guys like to connect with those? Like, I guess we kind of went through that a little bit. Yeah, okay. I guess we went through that already. I don't know where my brain was going with that. So how do we connect? We need to be able to connect with ourselves first. How can we expect to be able to connect with others if we cannot connect with ourselves? I know it was mentioned in the training that maybe do a personality test to know who we are. I'm kind of wishy-washy on the whole personality test type of thing. I think it's good for a basis, but I don't want you to take those and think that that's all that you are, that's all that defines you. No, because God has made us all intricately different. And so just you can use those as a base. But so, that's a good way to start to kind of figure that out for yourself. Let's see, some of these, John has 9 connection points. So connect with yourself. That's the first one. To share with openness and sincerity, which builds trust. I know somebody mentioned being vulnerable. And I listened to that call this morning and I had a poor night's sleep and woke up, did not want to go to the gym this morning, tried to convince myself not to go. But where did I end up? I ended up at the gym because I knew I needed it and I committed to myself, and that's what I was doing. But I used that to my advantage and I did a live about it. And I just said, I did not want to go to the gym today. And I shared that. I think people can relate to our vulnerability. They want to see that we struggle too. We're not perfect. We're not, hey, I'm taking these supplements now and my life is great. No, we still have struggles. We still have all the things. And people can relate to that. Again, stories. They relate to the stories. Number 3, live your message. I think we all do a pretty good job about that, don't we? Know your people. Communicate on their level. Yeah, that one's pretty self-explanatory there. If you have thoughts on any of these, please jump in. Give yourself totally to the people and the message. And then believe totally in the people and the message. So giving yourself to it and then believing. Irene, did you have something?
No, thank you. No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I saw your microphone going off and on. So share how the vision and mission has touched you. And again, that's our stories. And not just other people. Like, your friends don't know them. They want to hear from you. So make sure you are making time at least once a week. Would you say more than that, Cassie? At least once a week to share about you and, you know, what you're going through or what you have noticed or your experience, or they want to hear from you, from me. I know a lot of people have trouble with lives. I've never had trouble with lives. I am who I am and I look how I look. Now, sometimes I will use a filter because, you know, sometimes the lighting is weird on my phone. It's my phone. I don't know. Anyway, but people, you see yourself one way, but people just see you. Like, they're not looking at me and seeing, you know, like, I've got this little deal here that bugs me, you know, my hair today is all windblown and all the thing. They might look and say, oh, her hair a little cray, but it's okay. It's okay. I still love her, you know? So make sure you have that connect, and that's how they'll connect with you too. I sometimes get in plexus mode and post all the things, and then I'm like, oh, I haven't shared about myself or my family or any of that lately. So any thoughts on that from anyone? Sharing your vision, your mission, how it has touched you. Cassie suggested 1 to 3 times a week or more. Yes, there's nothing about doing more. Just don't forget that part. And then last but very not least, offer direction and hope. So that's what people are looking for these days. They need to know not all the science, not all that. Some people want that, and you can send that to them. That's fine. And sometimes, you know, the more, like, I like to research more and more, but I want you to do it for me. Just show me, just show me what you found. But they want to know, you know, how these products, how this community, how this money can affect their lives, how it can give them hope. So Cassie explained, I like when she said post to one person. What do you mean by that? I
So
missed that.
when she was talking, she said, when you're doing a live or whatever, sometimes you can be scatterbrained when you're trying to focus on everybody. She's like, when you're posting, you need to be posting or going live about one person. Like maybe it might be you're struggling at the gym and you're focusing on maybe somebody that you haven't seen come to the gym in a while. And so you're thinking about that person as you're doing your live, not everybody else. And so I thought that was so key, that you really truly focus on the one person. I mean, we do this with our posts. Most of us do. We share a testimony because maybe we heard or saw somebody else post about migraines or about, whatever they're going through. We're posting for that one person. And I think that that's a great lane to stay in, because if we try to get everybody, then nobody's going to feel that connection to you in that post. So.
Good thought, because I end up getting scatterbrained. Like tonight. It's like, what was I saying? Why did I start that? I don't know. I think we all kind of do that, right? Maybe it's been too long since I've had my active. It's wearing off. I don't know. Any other thoughts for tonight? We have some extra time. That's all I really had. Any other thoughts about magnetism or connection? How you like to connect with others, etc., etc. Okay. Quiet bunch tonight, but that's okay. That's all right. I have those days too. No problem. All right. Well, let's see. Who's doing Jessica's Monday noon book club? I wasn't able to get on today, but I think I want to. Was it good? What'd you think, Shara? Was good? Did you get on, Cassie? Were you able to at that time? Yeah, I had the gym and then I had to go to the grocery store. So not that you all need to know that. At this point, I'm just going to ramble. So let's maybe.
I like that, but I'm gonna have Shara talk to you. But I like that we can watch the recordings, because even if 12 doesn't work, we can still do the book study and still do it with her, even though we can't be on with her. So I think that's huge to have our team see that too. So
yeah, I just listened to it at work. I can't turn my camera on at work, but I just put it in my ear and listened to it. It was really good.
Good. Okay. So yeah, we need to encourage our people to hop onto that. Yeah, and I'm glad again.
Ashley was on there with me today too.
Ooh, awesome. Yay, Ashley. Good. All right, last call. Any other thoughts? Anything y'all want to mention? Do we have any upcoming events this week? I was going to look on the calendar as a reminder.
I think the biggest things are like, we have the Plexus calls that we always have. And then the why Plexus, those testimonial calls are really, really good. And that's a perfect way to connect with people, bringing people on to hear those testimonies that, maybe they need to hear. That's a great way.
I thought the calendar was on the leaders page. Is it on Paladins?
I think she's been posting on the Paladins from now on.
Okay. Oh yeah, May.
But I know there's a business call coming up they're working on. We're working on a DPUF 2. And so that's working.
Yay.
I know. I know I'm probably missing something. Shara or Hannah or somebody always usually tells me what I'm missing. And so it's great. But I feel like, I think that's it.
Okay. Today's the 9th, right? Okay. Looks like next week, Carissa and Megan are doing a coaching on Tuesday. That will be one to definitely pop into. And then McKenna is doing the opportunity event for guests on Thursday at 8:30. 2 Thursday, Friday. Oh, okay. Yeah. And that will be really good too. She explains things so well. So those are a couple of things upcoming that you can go to and invite your people to as well. So, all right. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful week. And it's only the first week of May. We got lots of time. All right. Have a good evening, everybody.